Hello, hello, all you beautiful people, and welcome to
Hello.
the live stream. We are here today. We got Lucas on my left, right, I guess, and Justin is in again as a special guest for
It's
this
Godzilla.
topic. Probably the only one that's Team Godzilla right now, but that's okay. Um, and Carla's not with us right now, so it's all good. So it'll just be us three amigos right now. But yeah, we're going to be talking about this movie. But before I get into it, for those who are into the stream, if you can hit that like button, we'll really appreciate it. It will help out our
Please,
channels.
please do that.
And if you know anyone that has seen the movie, that's curious about the movie, that wants to see the movie, or anything, just anything, share this stream, share it out to everybody. Let's get as many people as we can about this on the stream so we could talk about this movie. So very excited. Very excited to talk about this movie. But before we get into it, let me say hi to everybody. I see Katrina. Hey, happy Easter.
Katrina.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
I don't know. I didn't feel like Easter to me. I think that's why I'm kind of off. But
Yeah.
Happy Boxing. I mean, same here.
but I'm glad you're here. Happy Easter. And Yadi, my love, happy Easter. Glad you're here. And I don't see anyone else right now. Oh, I see Anna Travels, Team Godzilla. Oh no.
Nice, Anna.
Oh no.
That's
Hey,
my girl.
all you guys that are dropping into the stream, like, let me know if you're Team Godzilla, Team Kong. I would love to see where everyone's at on this whole movie. Whether you watched it or not, just whatever. You're Team Kong, Team Godzilla. All right, so saying hi to everybody. Okay, all right, you guys. But thank you for coming into the stream. But before we get into the topic of today, theme park news. You know, I always start that. You know, kind of get you guys updated for the week of anything that has happened. But first on the list, if you guys do live in Florida or have a Gideon's Bakehouse
Sorry,
near
guys.
you,
Technical difficulties.
you're good. Are we good? Are you good?
Yeah,
Lucas?
we're good. We're good.
Okay.
We're good.
So, if you have a Gideon's Bakehouse in your state, city, whatever, they have a new cookie now, the orange pecan chocolate chip cookie.
That don't even sound good.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, yeah, orange pecan chocolate chip, you guys. So if you have a Gideon's Bakehouse, you love pecan and orange and chocolate chip all together, that cookie is available for the month. So, you know, have fun with that one.
Not a reason to stay in a 2-hour line at Disney Springs.
Yeah.
But all right.
2 hours.
Yeah, there's that virtual queue, man. You haven't been there in a minute, but that virtual queue, some people wait for 5 hours, 6 hours to get in that bakehouse.
Yeah, it's
Food is food, I guess. I don't know.
yeah, it's long. Hey, but I will say with Gideon's Bakehouse cookies, it's actually really good. For 2-hour wait, I don't know, but
Did you finally try the Gideons?
yeah, I did try it. I did it on my live stream when I hit the 1 year, or I did the podcast. Yeah.
I actually
I
missed
did.
that one. I'm
Oh
sorry.
man, heartbreak.
Oh man. Dang. I'll have to go back.
You do. I'm so disappointed. Where's
Trader.
the support? I know. Where's the support at? I'm a little
Trader.
Yeah, he knows. He knows.
Yeah, right. But anyways, for those who care for that cookie, you can go to Gideon's and it's for the month. Also up for news, Epcot. It's kind of a long time from now, but on starting July 15th, I'm excited for it. The International Food and Wine Festival starts July 15th.
Ooh.
So right now it's Flower and Garden. Flower and Garden's all the way up until, it looks like it says 5 days before. Okay, so July 10th. So up to July 10th. So I'm excited because that to me is my favorite festival. So July 15th, you know, I'll be there ready to start getting my grub on to do my reviews. And there's still a lot for me to do for the Flower and Garden. So, but yeah, stay tuned for all that. And the last on the list is, it looks like I think it was just Magic Kingdom, or I don't know if it was all the parks, but they were testing, instead of using your Magic Band or like your card, you can use your cell phone to get into the parks. It looks like it's live now for iPhone users. So if you have an iPhone and you're going to the park, you can use your phone to, instead of your Magic Band or a card or whatever, to get into the parks. So if you have it, test it out. I don't have an iPhone because I think they suck. So sorry if I hurt some
Me
feelings out there.
Aggressive.
Yeah.
Aggressive statement.
but yeah, test it out. Let us know. But that's live right now. So, all right. Now we will get into the topic: Godzilla versus Kong. Dun dun dun. And let
Let's
me go
go.
to the chat.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let me catch up on the chat.
I like how you did the dun dun dun, but that was a missed opportunity for the Godzilla theme.
Right.
There's a Godzilla theme.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, there is. I
Ooh.
They
see.
played it.
Katrina, my girl.
What do you mean?
You already
was?
know.
Well, she said
You
I
already
was Team Godzilla. What does that mean?
So I became Team Titan by the end of this movie, but I started Team Kong.
Hmm.
What?
Gotcha. Going through ritual line queue, 80 minutes for me, then 20 minutes in line. They're good, but we won't do that again. Okay, talking about the cookie. Sorry, if I want a cookie. Whoa. Okay, cookie, I would go to Publix. Wow, I
I'll
love my
bake them
iPhone.
myself.
Yeah, iPhone sucks, so kind of late on that. Katrina says you can use your Apple Watch. I did not know that. There you go. You can use your Apple Watch. Okay, she's got to go because she's wanting spoilers. Well, yeah. We were going to talk about maybe non-spoilers, but you can stick around for just a little bit, Yachty.
Yeah.
If you haven't left yet. But anyways, all right. Today's topic: Godzilla versus Kong. So, do we go into spoilers or do we just go non-spoilers for 10 minutes? You guys let me know. Should we just go right into it?
Well, spoilers are. We can talk vaguely for a second.
Yeah, we can do some big talk. I like
because
that.
I have a lot to say that doesn't have to spoil like any plot points.
Yep.
But I have it's fine. No spoilers first.
So, okay, so we will, for you guys who are watching, we're going to not just go into it. We will do non-spoiler review. I will let our guest, which would be Justin, take first words, what you thought about the movie, non-spoiler review.
All right, so I loved this movie. I loved it. However, when I look at like a score of a movie, as a movie, it's basically a failure because it doesn't do the things that a movie does traditionally. So we're not spoiling it yet. So as a movie, you want a specific traditional story arcs to happen. You want characters to have purposes. You want what is happening to actually mean something. But at the end of the day, this movie doesn't really succeed in the traditional things that make a movie. But what it does succeed in is giving you a beautiful, just amazing visual effects showcase of some of the coolest, most classical villain monster things that are giant 100 stories kaijus that are
Titans,
just reimagined with all of the power of modern technology, and you are getting treated to that as good dumb fun, and that is all we really need from this. However, there could be more, and I'll get into that when we get into the spoilers and about the specific things that really irked me. To give you some context, I would say too, you guys up there, do you know who did the music for this?
No.
I think his name is Tom Holkenberg. He goes by another name, Junkie XL.
The same person who did Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yes.
Awesome.
So
and Dawn of Justice, right? Or
yes,
No.
he collaborated with Hans Zimmer.
Yeah. Okay.
So
There we go.
yes.
That's why I like the sound design so much. Okay.
Well, I like
the
sound
music.
design
Yeah,
as well.
it's really, really good.
Again,
Really
in like if you're talking about just people doing a project, this is like an A+ project. But as a movie, it's not beginning, middle, end. I have so many problems with it that I won't get into until we start spoiling it. But don't go into this thinking you're going to have some kind of like Oscar-winning, movie laid out in front of you. But what you are going to have is just the coolest stuff you've ever seen happening on screen. And go see it in an IMAX theater if you can, and if you can do it safely. It's well worth it.
It is. Okay. Your turn, Lucas.
Trying to think of how to word things without giving stuff away.
Without spoiling.
Really good movie. I agree with Justin. It fails, but it's not like a normal movie. It's like, say us as kids had a toy of Godzilla and a toy of King Kong, right? We started making up cities in our living room floor, and we just start having this huge fight between our two toys, but that's all we had. Like, that's what this movie is. Unfortunately, how movies run, they have to have story, they have to have some kind of plot, or else it's just like a YouTube short film where it's just two monsters fighting. And the failing part of this movie would be what Hollywood wants, in my opinion. So the human actors, I didn't want them. I was bored with them. I would have been fine as a viewer seeing the two monsters fight 100% of the time. If it was just them fighting nonstop, them fighting other monsters, them doing monster stuff, like them doing Titan stuff. But no, I had to have half the runtime was humans, and it wasn't a grudgingly long movie because of that. But at the same time, like I could feel myself like not wanting to sit through those parts. But when it comes to the Kong, when it comes to Godzilla, when it comes to everything involving those characters, 10 out of 10 performance, in my opinion.
Okay. So my thoughts about the movie. Great movie. I loved it. I enjoyed it. When you focus just on Kong, the fights, just Kong fighting Godzilla. Beautiful. Amazing. Like, you're just blown away with like every blow and every shot. And I mean, there's certain things Kong does, not spoiling anything, but he's very intelligent. And you're just like, wow, they put effort and work into this, and it wasn't just kind of like, oh, they're just gonna throw some punches and some kicks and maybe a tail whip. Like, no, it was some thought out fighting scenes, and they were really good. Whether it's Kong being intelligent, or Godzilla doing what he was doing, and just certain them using the environment, amazing, really good, you guys. Both of my hosts were kind of mentioning like the story of the humans. At the end of the day, realistically, you cannot have a movie where it's just monsters fighting. So with me, I always look at the perspective of like, okay, if you're gonna give me some kind of story, it's gonna be lame. At the end of the day, it's gonna be lame. It's kind of like horror movies, they got to throw in some kind of like, it's just gonna be lame, and you're just kind of. So with this kind of movie, I'm just like, okay, you're gonna give me a story with the humans, just don't make it too bad. I mean, for you guys, it seems like it was really bad. For me, it was okay.
No, it wasn't that bad for me.
It wasn't that bad. Okay, it wasn't like too terrible. Okay.
Yeah.
To me, it was acceptable to where, like I said, as long at the end of the day, I just wanted Kong to look great, Godzilla looked amazing, and when them coming together, clashing, I wanted a beautiful fight scene, and I got fight scenes. Yeah. But when it came to like the backstory with the humans and them trying to connect the humans with them, like it was fine. It was okay. It was bearable. It wasn't nothing to where I was like, oh my gosh, this was the worst thing. I'm pretty sure I've seen worse. So probably the first Godzilla movie. I mean, I think you might agree with that.
That's the weakest out of this whole MonsterVerse world that they built. And I don't ever want to revisit that movie, except for the Godzilla scene, and that's like 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. So
Disagree.
interesting. But yeah, overall, to me, the story with humans was fine. Great with Kong and Godzilla. They both look, and talking about animate, I mean, just CGI, you guys, CGI graphics on both Kong and Godzilla. Like in the other movies, they looked really good, but in this movie, they took it up another notch, and it was, I mean, to see like Kong laying on a ship and the wind just breezing through his fur and it's just going back and forth, the movement, and then Godzilla, his skin, and I mean, even when he opened up his mouth, there was more details than from the other movies, and it was just,
King of Monsters did really well. I mean, I just actually revisited King of Monsters today before I watched. We did this live, and Ghidorah is really, really detailed in that movie.
Yeah.
And so is Rodan, and so is Godzilla. And the fights with Ghidorah and Godzilla are really thought out too, I want to say. But going back to the human thing right quick, what I liked that King of Monsters did was they showed a lot of perspective from humans with fights going on. So like they were either inside of like a vehicle or they were inside of like a machine or something, and they could see stuff happening around them.
Yeah.
But we didn't really get that in Kong and Godzilla. It looked like it was always like the humans were standing back and they were seeing it from like, if we were seeing it as an actual like screen watching it, not from like the human perspective.
Well, there were certain scenes like, not going to get into spoilers, but when they were in Tokyo, there were certain scenes where they were kind of given the perspective of people looking up, and there was like, you know, them getting moved around, stuff like that. And there was that one scene where I forgot what the hovering ship that they were in, but you know, there was a scene
That's
where
a little spoilery.
I mean, those
machines are in the trailer.
Yeah, but I'm not telling people what purpose, right? So there's just a hovering plane, whatever, and it's going through passing Kong and Godzilla, and the perspective of it was really cool because it's like if you were on this plane or ship, whatever, and you went through them, like, and then like there was certain, you know, they were fighting, you know, they were in the middle of a fight, and it was just really cool, that perspective. So
but we saw but we also saw the outside of the machine for that perspective. We weren't like actually being the human seeing it. Like there was a scene in King of Monsters that actually made me like kind of enjoy the human story, where like the scene where they're looking at Godzilla through the water and he's like doing the intimidation flashes. You actually see him like if he's like outside of the glass and someone's looking at them. And then another one is when he's fighting Ghidorah and like they're inside of one of the rovers and there's the window and everything, and you can see him out the window and you see like the stuff happening.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So that it made me actually like the human story a little bit better in King of Monsters because of the perspective that they showed through the humans. Whereas this was just like you were watching the monsters fight through like a cinematic, like cutscene for a video game or something.
Okay. I mean, yeah, they did a good job with that. And I guess I'm trying to think in this movie if they had, I guess they didn't really have that much of a perspective like that. I guess the ones that I brought up are more like you said, they're not really from their viewpoint, but it was more
just like cool shots.
Cool shots. Really cool shots. Maybe they wanted to do something different.
Top notch. Like
very top notch.
Cinematography, the way they would set scenes up, going from oh god, I will have to wait for the spoiler talk, but going from human perspective to monster perspective to, you know, city aerial perspective where you can see the whole destruction around. I mean, this movie did that the best. The cinematography in this movie is the best. I don't want to spend too much time talking about the first Godzilla movie in this franchise, but I think what that one did best was it showed off the destruction the most from the large scale, and then it showed human perspective a lot. And I really liked that. I didn't like it as much when I saw the movie because I was let down that we didn't get a lot of Godzilla, but as a beginning chapter to this franchise, it really shows you how desperate the people are going into the later installments. And I like it as a beginning. But I don't want to talk too much about that.
No, for sure. But I do want to follow up with what you were saying though, with the Godzilla movie. When I first saw the first Godzilla movie, I didn't know this was a whole like universe they were building, right?
Exactly.
So I thought it was just like a standalone. Yeah, I thought it was a standalone like
Mhm.
America's retry on, the Japanese property.
Yeah.
So I saw it and I was like, okay, so I this is a disaster movie. This is a disaster.
And it's a great one. I
Exactly.
think it's a great disaster movie.
But then when I found out it was going to be part of a universe, and the next movie in the universe was Kong Skull Island, and that movie is by far like it's neck and neck with Kong vs. Godzilla for
That's
me.
my favorite of the four.
Yeah.
So the fact that came out second and it was completely different like take on this universe. It was and how it was filmed and what went on and everything else with it. It was very, very troubling for the Godzilla side of the story, I thought.
Mhm.
But they redeemed it, so it's all good.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you guys, for those who are watching, great movie. I mean, you can see some, like I said, at the end of the day, the human story, that's not really the main focus on the movie. But when it just comes down to Godzilla, how he looked, Kong, how he looked, them fighting, and some other surprises in the movie, amazing. They did a good job. Just great. And, and for those who are like, monster fighting junkies where you want it like more than just a few minutes here and a few minutes there, they did a good job to give you like, you were satisfied with each scene to where you were just like hungry for more. And I like that.
Oh, yes. This, please, anybody listening, go see this in the theater. This is one of the greatest popcorn summer flicks you can watch in your entire life. Like there is literally, this is possibly the best version we could have of Godzilla versus Kong. And it might not sound like I feel that way of all the things I have to say about this movie, but you will be missing out if you don't see it. The human elements parts of it are they don't spend so much time on them like they do in the previous movies.
Exactly.
They spend a lot less time. So you're going to get heaping mouthfuls of these. Well, that's a weird way to say it, but just, you know what I'm saying? That's the main course is most of the movie.
Yeah.
The fight.
Yeah. Well, just the monsters doing the monster things. Yeah. If they're not fighting, you're getting monster stuff, regardless of whether they're fighting or not. Yep. So you get a lot more of all of that. It's what we've been waiting for, and they do a really good job with it. You need to go see it.
Yep, pretty much everything Justin said. Go watch it. If you can go see it in the movie theaters, go do it if you can do it safely, because this movie is just too. I mean, this movie it deserves to be on the theater screen, on a big screen with powerful.
The largest one possible.
Yeah, the largest one possible, because you're watching a movie with two mega monsters, kaijus, whatever you want to call them, and they're going at it. You want to see it on the big screen, like Justin said. It's a blockbuster, a summer blockbuster movie at that. And it's great. So, but I mean, if you have a good, some people don't really care about that. If you have a good size TV or whatever your TV size is at home, watch it. But you will be entertained, like you said, popcorn kind of
material.
Turn
the volume up.
Yeah,
get your bases going. Hear those roars.
Yeah,
piss off your neighbors.
Exactly. But yeah, so there's our 10-minute non-spoiler review about it. So for those who are still watching, you don't want it to get spoiled, and you want to watch it, this is your time to go, because now we're going to be talking about spoilers, and I think Yadi, you're one of them. So if you're going to leave, I appreciate you, and I thankful for you to stop by and at least be on the stream for a little bit.
Yep,
but yeah, giving you guys
thanks, guys, whoever's leaving.
Yeah, for anyone that's leaving, this is your chance. You got to leave now.
Come back after you've seen the movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anna says, I hated the 1962 Kong versus Godzilla, but loved this matchup. Yeah. I mean,
for the era of Godzilla, it fit the bill. And a lot of things in this movie harken back to that movie. So the director paid a lot of attention to like the source material.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't like any of the old Godzilla Kong movies at all. I do like the Matthew Broderick one, but
So you don't like Peter Jackson's King Kong?
Oh no. That one, yes. Very good movie, but I wasn't even thinking about that one.
I don't know if I like that one, but anyways.
Oh, I'm a fight so fast. That's a great movie.
Opinions, I can't handle.
Well, I mean, see, we could go on and on about all the different Kong movies and all the different Godzilla movies, but That could be maybe for a different night. But yeah, for those who good night, Yachty. For those who have watched the movie, I think I saw two people that said something. If
Thanks
they're
for sticking around.
Team Kong or Team Godzilla, love you. Have a good night. Let me know in the comments, are you Team Kong, Team Godzilla, especially if you've seen the movie. And obviously, don't be shy on letting us know your opinion about it. But now, let us get into
the full discussion.
the full discussion.
The full review. Spoiler review.
All right. So, I think because Justin really has I feel like there's some
There's a lot you want to get off his chest.
Yeah, let him.
I'm gonna even so I'm gonna hold back because I could go on and on and on. But at the end of the day, again, let me preface this by saying at the end of the day, this movie is really fun to watch.
There's actually two scenes Anna travels. Do you know what they are?
I lost what we were talking about with Anna, but
sorry, that's all.
Anyway, so yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. It really scratched that nerd itch in me. I have no idea why it is so satisfying to watch a giant lizard and a giant monkey punch each other and breathe fire and throw stuff. I don't understand why it's so fun, because when I usually go into a movie, I go into a movie to have a narrative journey from point A to point B. This movie does not have that. It may be a little bit. It has it with Kong, and that's why, from the moment that Kong is introduced, the movie starts with him. It doesn't start with some human going, "Oh God, what's going to happen? Something's about to explode." No, it's Kong, and you see him. Yeah, exactly. So, he is the main character of this movie. I think if you look at the main character, none of the humans are just there to appease the Hollywood gods and to give the camera somewhere to be, to make you feel like it's in real life, and the perspective is there, because they have, number one, biggest problem with this movie. It's not necessarily the plot. Way too many characters. Way too many characters. There's like 3 groups of 4 people, and 2 of the people, and there's even another group that's just there. So the dad from King of the Monsters, Lucas, you just watched it.
Yep.
He's in it for like 2 scenes.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's in it, but he's not really doing anything. He's just like, "Where's Maddie? Where's Maddie? Where's Millie Bobby Brown?" I don't know where. You know what Millie Bobby Brown's doing? Hardly anything important. She's riding around in a van. She's being like the Forrest Gump of this movie, where she just happens to be at the right place at the right time, coincidentally, just so they can get to this one point in the movie where, for those of you who have seen it, they pour coffee all over or a drink over a computer, and that is very important.
Her sole purpose of that movie. That
her arc served as the audience's. We got to see another side of the story, like the build up to Mechagodzilla, which was awesome. But it 100%. It shouldn't have been her, because after everything she'd gone through in the previous movie, the odds of her coincidentally going through all of that, very low. None of it was believable. After her friend, from the guy from Deadpool 2 and Hunt for the Wilder People, who I love, the young actor who is New Zealandish. Yes. He was great. He's a great comedic actor. But when he showed up at that point in the movie, I was like, another character. And so you have Brian Tyree Henry. I think his character's name is Bernie, and Millie Bobby Brown, and the New Zealand kid. Who, that's the thing. Most of these characters, I don't remember their names because they were not important. They didn't need to. So you have.
I didn't even know Millie Bobby Brown's character until today, watching King of Monsters, where they said Maddie over and over again. Maddie. And
they said Maddie.
Yeah.
Which is very similar to Millie. So exactly. That's the only reason. But you got that group of 4 people, and 2 of them are comic relief. You don't need 2 comic relief characters. You don't, and neither one of them were that great. And as much as I liked the line, I cringed so hard at the line when he pointed, they're like, "Oh, it's Robo Godzilla." And he's like, "Nah, it's Mecha Godzilla." And I was just like, I like it, but you shouldn't have. It didn't work. So you had that group of characters, very nothing happening. You had a male and female counterpart story with the young girl who has got King Kong's friend. That was probably the best group of characters. But the adult male, who is played by Alexander Skarsgård, whose name I didn't know, it just doesn't need to be there. He doesn't do. He has like one scene where he does something slightly heroic, where you think he's going to die, and he doesn't die. He's fine. There's no stakes in this movie. Everybody's fine. And if you're not going to have him die heroically, what is the point of having him?
I know. Take him back to King of Monsters again, since it's fresh in my mind. Ken Watanabe, Dr. Shirazawa, you died.
That gave it some heart.
You died to bring us back our big radioactive lizard.
That was good. That was the human element with Godzilla. We already got that. Now we get the King Kong human element. Rebecca Hall's character was just there to communicate with the daughter, who was the best character in the movie, played by a human. The sign language daughter. She was great. She had some sassy signing going on that I loved. She was funnier than the comic relief characters of this movie, with her sass and everything, with how she was like, this guy's a coward or whatever, and he's like, you're brave, but he says, you're a coward too. That was funny. That joke worked.
Do you feel like with the little girl, like, a lot of us, it seems like, for those who are in the chat, let me know if the little girl, if was your favorite. I mean, it seems like that was the only human that we really cared about, given it's probably because she was connected with Kong. But hey, Two Real Geeks, how are you doing? Glad you are in the stream.
I feel like we're missing a lot of the comments because that was my rant, but yeah.
No, you're good. I'm paying attention to the comments.
Okay.
Do you think because she had that connection with Kong, I mean, that part, and I think too, her acting is what made you really kind of just admire her as just like the character. And I guess if you think about it, she's not really just a throw-in random character where she's like a little girl and she has feelings for Kong. Like, no, she's like, because of her, Kong, is learning the sign language and there's communication. And it seems like there's this bond where he only trusts her, to where she's the one that's like, Kong, you need to go down that hole. Kong,
right.
You need to trust us, get on the ship, all that stuff, and try to calm him down. So, but yeah, she was really good. The little girl, I think, I guess
she was the most, when it comes to movie stuff, she was the most satisfactory in like traditional movie stuff. And I like that. My rant could continue. She was the only human character that was good in this movie, Anna.
Agreed.
It's just one of those things where at the end of the day, I like to rant about things because I just see how much better things could be. Like, even as much content as we got with the villain, the people who owned Apex, there was like a group of 3 of them. One of them I completely forgot about. The other one was just there to get shocked to death.
Do you know who that was? That was Dr. Shirazawa's son.
Yeah, that's right. I did hear about that, which was cool. And then all of a sudden, like, I remember watching the credits to this movie when they were starting. It said Lance Reddick. I don't know if either of y'all know who Lance Reddick is.
No.
He is the concierge at the hotel, the Continental Hotel in John Wick. He is the guy who speaks with the, like, I think it's a French accent, but he's wearing a suit and he's like, "Would you like a dinner reservation, sir?" That guy. I love him. Okay. He's in so many video games. He's in so many movies. He's always awesome. He says one line of dialogue in this movie. And he's just there. I don't know why he's there. But it's like way towards the end of the movie. I don't get it. Maybe they're setting up for him in another movie. Who knows? I don't know.
I think this is supposed to end the MonsterVerse.
Yeah, I would like more. But this was a great ending.
I heard that this was the ending to the MonsterVerse. Yeah.
But there's got to be... Well, let me ask this. Like, talking about, do you think this might be the end to the MonsterVerse? Like, do you think with Mechagodzilla, what they did to him, do you feel like he's done? Do you feel like they're going to revive him? Here's the thing, because I feel like he might have been like, Mechagodzilla 1.0. Like, that was kind of...
That was actually one of the topics I want to talk about with Mechagodzilla, because this Mechagodzilla is like a combination of a bunch of different versions of Mechagodzilla. The first Mechagodzilla ever created was made by aliens, so I knew they weren't going to do that ever in this universe they were building. So I had a very strong feeling at the end of King of Monsters when we had the end credit scene where we have Ghidorah's head, that we were going to get something involving Ghidorah in the future, right? Of course, we're all going to think that. So the fact that when Mechagodzilla got like leaked, I was like, okay. So I wanted Mecha King Ghidorah, but I knew they couldn't do it because Mecha King Ghidorah has got one metal head and two real heads. So couldn't really possibly do that since Ghidorah's dead, dead.
Yeah.
So this harbins back to Mechagodzilla 2, basically, whose name's Kiru, who was made from the bones of Godzilla in the Godzilla lore. So the fact that they used the Ghidorah, the DNA of Ghidorah, to power the Mechagodzilla is essentially this universe's version of. That's actually from Ready Player One, sir.
Oh, you know what? Hold on, you guys. I didn't.
That's a good movie too. Go watch.
I was trying to find it.
It's all right. It's all right.
But this Mechagodzilla is like a combination of a bunch of different characters. It's Ghidorah. It's Mecha King Ghidorah. It's like Kiru, like I said, because he's made from another monster that was already established within the universe. And it's even better because the Kiru is driven by a pilot, but also has its own AI, which is basically the Godzilla AI, like the Godzilla's like soul. And so the fact that Ghidorah, once imbued with the power of the Hollow Earth, it came back online and took over the control of the mech. And it was essentially this version's Mecha King Ghidorah. But do I think that Mechagodzilla will come back? I don't think so, because I think this is the end of the MonsterVerse. Unless this movie does a lot of money, and it already has made a lot of money, Warner Brothers probably won't continue with it.
It's made a lot of money for a pandemic movie. It's made the most of any movie since the pandemic started.
Yeah.
But it hasn't made like $1 billion like, Black Panther or Infinity War or.
Well, I mean, knowing with COVID and all that stuff, you can't really.
Yeah. But it's only been out for a few, like not even a week yet. So
yeah,
we'll see.
It's doing really good though.
Well, yeah, go see this movie if you haven't, and go see it again. We want more.
But you also have to think though, now that it has the 30 days on HBO Max though, that it also generates like streaming revenue too. So it's exact like we don't get box office sales aren't tied into like streaming sales. So we can't really allocate when someone says like, hey, this is how much money this movie's made. They're doing box office sales right now.
Yeah.
That would be in how many people signed up for HBO Max for a.
That is still Ready Player One.
Yeah, that's
I thought he
like.
looked. Oh,
No,
wait.
so Mechagodzilla in this film, Alex, since you watched it, has a clawed hand that has two claws going this way and two claws going.
I thought he
this
had.
way.
Oh, maybe I didn't really pay attention to him.
Kamehameha.
Anyways, go ahead, Justin. While I.
No, I was. So the one last thing, I will not rant about this movie after this book, but I was just thinking to myself, as we all were talking, I just remembered the girl who was there working for the bad guys that wanted to steal some data and just got blown up. I can't. But like I had completely forgotten about her, and then it just came back to me because I'm like, were there any more who was with? Oh yeah, I was.
She was just made to be a witchy character, and then I liked
the Hollow Earth stuff.
Oh, I love it too.
I like how they were either alluding to plot A, which is way more likely, and what I'm leaning is that the Kong species was intelligent and ruled the Hollow Earth. Yep. Or B, that there were humans under there in some form of Atlantis that worshipped Kong. But I don't think that happened because humans aren't awesome enough to build stuff like that.
I think
they did build Mechagodzilla. So.
I think the Kong species actually ruled the Earth before like all the other Titans came around.
Ooh, I
think they were the original rulers. And then Godzilla came and I am the apex predator now. Like, I am the alpha. So it was basically the fight for the alpha between the Kong species and the Godzilla species.
Right. And I liked when it came to the plots between Godzilla and Kong. I really liked them because Godzilla was a misunderstood anti-hero in this, who was just trying to stop Mechagodzilla
There we go. There
from
he
the very
is.
beginning. But at the same time, he also needed to let everybody know, oh, behold, while we're here.
Fun story. That's Kiryu in the background too, the one that's made with the Godzilla skeleton. So that's fun that they used that.
Are you sure? Isn't that just the same?
No, that is
different angle.
That is the Kiryu.
Okay.
Different hands, different body structure. Has machine gun. Has guns on his upper torso.
Oh, on
his shoulders.
Yeah. Wait.
Yep.
Yeah. You're right.
I like Godzilla guys.
Mechagodzilla was, again, very fulfilling, but in it for very Mechazilla. I like that. Yeah, we might.
It did look very Transformers. It did look very Transformers.
I don't think it looked as egregiously like.
The thing
bendy.
that was weird to me, thing that is weird to me, one of these things is I don't know what the technology basis is in this world. Like, sometimes it's like modern day technology, and sometimes it's futuristic technology. Sometimes it's like sci-fi technology. So, like, I don't know the technology basis.
I think they were always the new superpowers in this world were all, retro. What's it called when you take alien technology and you? I'm forgetting the term in the podcast. How embarrassing! But at the same time, I think a lot of them were taking the Godzilla biology, studying it, and then using that to create stronger, which is obviously what they did with Ghidorah. At the end of King of the Monsters, you have people trying to build or people trying to procure the parts of these monsters. And so it stands to reason. Like, what was he in the movie for? Anyway.
Yeah.
It stands to reason that they would take these parts and I want to say retrofit, but that's not the word. Make technology based on what they found out from these gigantic titans that are nuclear powered.
Yeah.
So anyway, but back to what I was saying. When it comes to Godzilla is a misunderstood anti-hero. From the very beginning, him showing up, he's attacking Apex. He's less concerned with collateral damage.
Yeah.
That's why I call him an anti-hero. And he also is very, concerned with being the alpha. But he
I think I would call Godzilla more of a force of nature and a protector,
that's what everybody's calling
and a protector of Earth more than he is anything else.
Okay. That's semantics, I think, but sure.
No, because I consider Kong as like a protector of mankind, whereas Godzilla is a protector of Earth. Where Godzilla just protects what's the benefit of what the Earth's ecosystem is to survive, which was touched on in King of the Monsters. Kong is there to be the bond with humans and be just basically a big old human, basically, and show that humans can do good, but they just need a little bit, kickstart. Like, he's there to protect
Nothing you're
us.
saying is wrong. I just think it's semantics.
Well, Lucas, remember when you were saying, like, you were wondering in this trailer that I'm kind of playing, you were like, why is Godzilla, like, killing people? And you were thinking it was Mechagodzilla, and I was like, no. I was like, I think it's him. And I was like, I just think he's just sensing something, or just something that's just kind of like, I don't think he was like being wouldn't say hypnotized, but I don't think he's being controlled by anything. I knew that it wasn't Mechagodzilla, and I was just like, I think it's Godzilla just being wouldn't say territorial, but I was like, there's just, I don't think he was being the bad guy. But
I had those two theories where it was either Mechagodzilla and they had him skinned up to look like Godzilla, which would have been harkened to another film, or the Orca was being used to control him somehow. So the fact that the Orca wasn't in this movie at all was a little weird to me, since it was such a huge plot device and such a huge, like, way to learn to communicate with these creatures
Yeah.
that they didn't resurface in this movie. Whereas you can now talk to King Kong because of sign language, cool. But I mean, like the people who had a closer connection to Godzilla, they weren't like able to communicate with them anymore. Like, why not?
Yeah,
You had
no
this
doubt.
machine, but now a couple of years later, the machine's like technology should have been able to be better. So maybe now you can be like communicate with Godzilla, be like, hey, we're friends. Don't hurt this area. Don't do this, please. Like,
Yeah.
Like I was saying with Godzilla, his concern was being the top dog, and I guess a little bit Goku like in the sense that I want to beat everybody I can.
Yeah.
I want to fight everybody just to test my strength. Whereas Kong wasn't really around to fight. He likes to fight. He likes to fight and eat things. Apparently, he likes to just snack as he's beating things to death. But he was less concerned about fighting Godzilla. Well, yeah, I think Kong was the main character. Yes.
yeah, he was the
Yeah.
human.
I like
was the
Godzilla
human.
better,
Yeah,
but
he
you're
was.
right. And
much.
Kong's story, he got to develop connections with humans in general through the eyes and through the connection he had with the little girl whose name I forgot. And he got to try it. He shows that he's learning, as he didn't have parents to teach him stuff. He had to learn it all through observation and his interactions with the humans. But he's very smart. He's not as able to communicate yet, but he can still communicate at an effective level. And then him getting his journey is like, I want to go home. I want to find home, and I want to be, I don't want to have to fight all the time, and Kong earns that through the course of his story arc. It's a very bare bones story arc, but because Kong doesn't speak, mostly he says home or however you say home, in sign language, he's given just enough so that you're rooting for him, because he is, in all essence of the word, the protagonist of this movie. If you look at it narratively, Godzilla is not an antagonist; he is a foil. And Apex as a corporation is the bad guy, with Mechagodzilla being the henchman of Apex. And really, who wins in the end but Ghidorah, who has a research. This is his, comeback through a now metal human-made body that shows maybe humans shouldn't be trying so much to preemptively create technology just in case something happens.
Or be the smartest creature in the room.
Yeah, pretty much.
Huh?
Yeah. Or try and be the smartest person / creature in the room.
The apex predator.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Film also seems a little girly. It's tempting to connect with community. What I do want to say, like just looking at this scene, or just talking about Kong and Godzilla, if there's one thing that I just thought of right now that was a little disappointing on, is that why when Godzilla hit his, got his little strikes on Kong, they're a little bit more damaging than what Kong did. Because I mean, this punch right here that should have done something. And then there were some other scenes where in Tokyo, I feel like Kong got some really good, like powerful something, and hits, and it was just kind of like,
just so you don't get slaughtered in the comments, it was Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Not Tokyo.
Yeah,
oh, is it? Oh, yeah, that is it. Yeah, Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Hong Kong, yeah.
Because Godzilla is stronger than Kong. Kong's more intelligent. That's the thing that going into this fight, like all of us fans knew, was Godzilla is stronger, he's bulkier, and has more at his disposal when it comes to his actual being. Kong was faster, he's more agile, and he's smarter. So he has those things. Those are his X factors versus Godzilla's like, I can take as many punches as you want, but I'm going to dish one at you and you're going to go down.
So you're comparing Kong to Batman in this regard.
Yeah, Godzilla is
he's
Superman.
resourceful.
Godzilla would be Superman. and
Well,
Kong would be Batman.
Well, because here was my thing before the film was that I was worried about was that Godzilla was 10 times bigger than Kong, and I was like, if there was going to be any fair matchup, Kong needs to be at least the same height and be as at least bulkier, which he is. He
He's
really
not
is.
bulkier. He's not bulkier. He's the same height.
He is thicker. No, he's
No,
taller.
no,
he's
No,
thicker.
Godzilla's leaning down.
Godzilla is
tall. They're both kind of crouched here.
No,
Godzilla
there was like
huge. Godzilla is huge.
he's not even leaning forward. Look, they're about the same height. He's going like you can see Godzilla is straight up, looks like he's moving forward, and Kong throws in that punch. So they're at the same height. On top of that, from this movie compared to Kong Skull Island, Kong is thicker and bigger. So
I mean, he grew up, yes, but so comparison to Godzilla's throughout the years, this Godzilla, besides Godzilla Earth, which is a Netflix show, this is the biggest Godzilla and the heaviest Godzilla and the most muscled Godzilla. Like this Godzilla is literally built to take a beating from anything coming his way and throw it back harder.
Does it the scale of these creatures were so confusing to me because like right here we're looking at them on top of an aircraft carrier.
yeah.
But then when they're in the city, they look so much bigger.
I'm pretty sure they designed this aircraft carrier to move Kong.
Oh, well, there's another one right next to it that's just a little bit smaller. That's still giving you the scale.
Well,
so it's very confusing because when you're in the city and you look up at Kong, like he looks like he's the Empire State Building, but when you're on this thing, you know, from the water's perspective, he doesn't look that tall.
The water makes things look smaller, so I guess that would be a.
Yes, yeah. But like I said, you were talking about the specific aircraft carrier that they're standing on was designed for them, but there's another one right in front of it in that previous shot. That's just a regular aircraft, just like a submarine. But I don't know. It's just confusing to me. It's
do it for
understandable.
Yeah, do it for the shot.
I'll get to the Hong Kong because I mean, but like, okay, we're talking about Kong is a little bit, or you're saying Godzilla is stronger, but I mean, it looks like Kong didn't even have enough, like, put enough effort on right here just to get him, just to do that. I would think if Godzilla was stronger, he would have been kind of like a wall, and Kong would have like just made him budge just a little bit. But the fact that
you're on a rocky boat. You're on a rocky boat. Whenever he hit him on land, he had to get up in the air and like kick him with the full force of his body to knock Godzilla down almost 100%.
He's basically doing judo, trying to use his own weight against him.
Whereas Godzilla is literally just moving at him and is not being stopped. Where like it was a whole like that's why by the way, guys, just flat out saying definitive winner is Godzilla. Godzilla wins this. So the fact that Kong had ingenuity behind him with his fights, he used Godzilla's weight against him. He used weapons against him. He used the terrain against him. But when it comes to just sheer like force and sheer audacity of power, it's Godzilla.
I mean,
no, they supposedly they did scale him down, but they don't admit that. Like when you compare them from King of the Monsters to here. But anyway, we've talked a lot about the size. I don't think any of us will have definitive answers. I think we're not really used to seeing giant like I haven't seen any giant kaijus around lately, so I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
I'm not used to how they would look in front of a aircraft carrier versus a giant building.
I mean, that comes down to, you know, I mean, now you could just start nitpicking, but like I mean, like I said, now just thinking about it, and I have to rewatch the movie, but like, I know Anna, whoever's team Godzilla is going to be like, no, he's king of the monster. But I mean, when I'm seeing certain scenes and just that, like, there's got to be some kind of like.
Notice he's not falling down though. Like he's taking the hit like this and then getting right back up. He's not falling down.
But he doesn't need to fall down.
Godzilla smacks him once with a hand, falls down. Godzilla smacks him with his tail once, falls down.
But he
Kong
doesn't
is
need-
not as strong.
He doesn't need to fall down. There's just got to be a little bit more damage to where I don't know. I just feel like he could have
The
done a
damage
little
he
bit.
was able to deal was through the axe. That's why
Let me ask you this.
ingenious. He uses ingenuity. He uses tools. He uses his intellect.
Here's the one that kind of I was disappointed on was why on this scene it wasn't as powerful as I thought it was. It was just like, I mean, he fell back
Because it was the energy coming out of Godzilla colliding with the energy stored up inside the axe, and then it explodes like this, and they both got knocked back.
Yeah, they both get knocked back, but then Godzilla seems like it didn't even do anything to him. I feel like something like that. If you're gonna put a scene like this in the movie, if we're gonna say Godzilla's stronger and Kong needs to be little, he's intelligent, so he's gonna do this. I would think this could have at least, if we're not gonna give Kong the little punches and the little hammer downs, then okay. If this is Kong using a weapon.
This is the round he won, though. He won round 2.
Yeah, but there was no damage. Like I don't see Godzilla like
nuclear energy. This is nuclear energy. Godzilla nuclear energy makes stronger.
Yep.
So you can't use that energy against Godzilla because Godzilla just gets stronger. The force will knock him back, but it's just like he's expelling kinetic energy and it's just being returned back to him as potential. It's not really damaging anything. Godzilla is born out of nuclear power.
Which I agree, but then why if we're talking about the family of Kong being like these warriors and they are using these, there's got to be a reason for it, and I would think that it would at least do some kind of damage to Godzilla.
They were able to beat the Godzilla species because they
to have it.
But the sole fact that this Godzilla has lasted as long as he has, he's absorbed nuclear radiation for years. He has the Mothra radiation. Like that's why this Godzilla, when he comes out, he's glowing blue all over his body. He's expelling.
And we don't know how many other kaijus he's eaten from here to
exactly. Like this Godzilla is literally a walking force of nature.
Yes, this is like Super Saiyan 2 Godzilla versus Super Saiyan Kong, basically.
Exactly.
So
I knew who's going to win this fight in the end. I am still team. I mean, I'm team I'm team Titan now. But I started off Team Kong because I wanted Kong to win because I liked Kong Skull Island. But as a monster-verse lover, as a kaiju lover, like the fact that these characters did so well to what those characters are, these creatures are, that's perfect. I mean, Kong would never be able to win a fight versus Godzilla. Never. And I knew that, but I didn't want it to happen, but I knew it.
Okay, but it's like I said, at the end of the day, if Godzilla's gonna win, I just feel like there could have been some blows in there that could have Godzilla would have been like, you know what, you were like,
he hit him with the axe.
Yeah,
he made
but that
him
didn't.
bleed.
He didn't. He still got up, and I didn't see him limping. I didn't see him like I don't know, shaking his head, and he was like dizzy or something. No, there was nothing where Kong's like breaking, broken ribs, shoulder, got put out of place, and I get it. I mean, but I'm just saying, like, there was no blows to Godzilla
because they made Kong a human. They made Kong a big human.
Okay.
Also, what I don't get too is like they could be lightly thrown into a building, and because of their momentum and everything, they would just totally just negate the building and go right through it like it was a styrofoam or something.
Yep.
But Kong, for some reason, can hop up and grab onto a building and just be totally okay. Just like, oh, hanging out, like hanging out on the building. Well, I'm gonna kick off the building. Which if it's funny to watch because of their size, so many of their blows depend on them rearranging their weight so they actually stand up because every time they hit each other, they get knocked out of equilibrium. So a lot of the fights are just them trying to stand back up straight so they can throw another punch, which I really like because that's exactly. And sometimes you'll see them in the air, kind of flying through the air, and they're just like, okay, I gotta wait to land because there's nothing I can do yet, until I can reorient myself. It was so fun to watch, man.
I'll bring up this comment right here. They were saying some of the cuts to another scene, they thought it was very abrupt with no transition or understanding of, okay, how do we get to this point? Just a few cuts. Did you feel like that in the?
Yeah,
don't
let me
think
tell you this: when
it's-
we're sitting there watching the movie, I have a very energetic Lucas on this side of me, and there'd be Godzilla stuff, and then boom, they'd switch to the humans, and you'd just see like arms go up like this and slam back down, and you'd hear audible anger from Lucas just because it wasn't a good time to cut to the human characters, number one, and number two, we don't want the human character.
Well, I mean, that doesn't
So I
make
agree
it.
with that.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, how else would it's almost like it's teasing. It's almost kind of like, I'm gonna give you some of this and then cut it into, like the humans where you're just like, and you get up, I think they did, they cut it into the human parts and you're just like what you said, Lucas was kind of like, why did you do that? You're throwing off like this good,
The pacing,
the
yeah.
pacing, yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I mean, I guess again, at the end of the day, they're forcing the human story, so they have to get it in there with the humans and the buildup of here's Kong and Godzilla fight scenes and the buildup of
yeah.
whatever buildup they were trying to do with the humans, which is, like I said,
I didn't
I'm not.
understand how quickly they got from Pensacola, Florida to through the Hollow Earth to Hong Kong at the same time as the other group of people were going from there to there, and they just coincidentally clash. And it's like, how much time has passed between now and then? And their cuts just made it very hard. So I kind of feel it. And as far as Godzilla in a head-to-head match between Godzilla and Kong, Godzilla beat Kong twice because Kong had to resort to hiding the first time, playing dead.
Yep.
The second time,
Kong
he
won.
lost in a...
Yep.
Huh?
And Kong won the second one.
Where was the second one?
Okay, so there was basically three fights, right? There was the first one on the battle carrier, and then there was 2 rounds in Hong Kong. The second round ended during that scene with the axe and the atomic breath, where the axe comes out and slams, and they both get knocked back. Kong gets up and is like, "Okay, I'm good," but then Godzilla was like, "Oh, I gotta like slink off into the shadows." Remember, he like you see
Ding,
him, like
ding, ding.
yeah, it's like ding, 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 round over, and then round
disagree.
3 happened, and then round 3 happened. Kong's shoulder got broken. Kong got ripped apart, and then the screaming happened at each other. One of the best scenes ever in that movie. Them just Godzilla roaring down on top of him, and Kong like roaring back, and Godzilla's like, "I hear your heartbeat. You're dying. This isn't worth it," and walks away.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, I'm going to get really semantical and just explain. That's if you're talking boxing match, no, because when it comes to fights, there was only 1 round in the aircraft carrier fight. Godzilla won. There were 2 rounds in the Hong Kong fight, and Godzilla won. But if you look at the rounds or whatever in that one as 2 different fights, I just think of that as one fight where Godzilla had to go get like situated. So did Kong. Technically, they both had to go catch their breath for a second.
Okay.
And then ultimately, Godzilla basically killed Kong. They had to use electricity to revive him, which is probably the most useful thing the humans did the entire movie, honestly. But
yeah.
Hey Anna, good night. Thank you for joining the stream.
Thank you.
You said you've been rewatching all the Godzilla films and reviewing them on your other channel.
Yep.
Okay, I will definitely check that out. And for those who are in the chat, subscribe to her channel. She's going to be doing, a discussion with all the Godzilla films, even though it's Team Kong, not Team Godzilla. Anyways,
So,
good night, Anna.
So even though it touched on how intelligent Kong was, the Hong Kong scene also shows how intelligent Godzilla is as well. So when he's fighting him, he hasn't used the atomic breath yet, but he keeps trying. But Kong's like, "I can't deal with this. If I get hit by this, I'm over." So he keeps stopping him over. One time he punches him. Next time he shoves something in his mouth. Next time he like closes up the jaw and like kicks him out of the way, because he knows if he gets hit by this thing, he's done. So then Godzilla's like, "Wait a second. So I'm going to roll out, get really far behind where he can't touch me, and then I'm going to blast him." And then he notices, okay, he misses him. And then Godzilla's like, you see him thinking. And then he blasts him and then keeps it going and then he gets it in front of him and then hits him. And that's when the screen pans back to him. He stops firing it, and Godzilla's smiling because he knows he can win. Because he knows he can win.
Two things. One, Godzilla has been fighting in cities this is the third movie. Kong's never fought in a city until now. Godzilla's got home front advantage, even though he's not on water. Yep. He's still, because he knows what's what. He knows what these buildings are doing. Well, he's already done this rodeo.
Well, a little bit, because there, like what Lucas was saying, there was just, I mean, in the city, yeah, Kong has never fought in a city, but he knew, because he was intelligent, he knew how to.
He had to learn it quickly.
He learned it quickly, and he did.
Yes.
He adapted very quickly,
yes.
and I think he used a lot of the buildings and the structures to his advantage, even to where the one point he was standing on top, and he was just kind of like hiding from Godzilla. And Godzilla, he noticed Godzilla can't really notice anything from above, like
he's like, I've never fought a kaiju this limber before.
His vision was kind of just focused, like just kind of straight ahead. So he was kind of like a predator. So he was just like adjusting and stuff.
Then he threw that thing to get his attention. He threw whatever he had in his hand to get his attention in some opposite direction, and then he went after him.
Yeah, and then he went after him, which was like what I'm saying. So I feel like I don't want to say Godzilla had the advantage in that. Hey Arlene, how's it going? Thank you for popping in. Okay, I appreciate it. The replay will be there.
Yeah,
but this here for a moment was saying, does anyone else worry about the cleanup mess after these events? I mean, by that point, like it's like you might as well just like.
Well, they touched base on that in King of Monsters, how like San Francisco became like a lush forest. Wherever these monsters go now, it's like they repopulate the earth with like greenery or some sort of life. So. Granted, the humans can't live there anymore, but something is happening to the earth because of them fighting.
Yeah. And the other point I was going to touch on, Alex, you were talking about how come Godzilla is getting punched and it's not doing much impact. Imagine the most buff human, like imagine Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson punching an alligator in the face or a rhino. Okay, not going to do much. Right? It's going to do something. Right? No, I'm not hating on The Rock because he's The Rock.
But I mean,
this is flesh.
But here's the thing:
exoskeleton. This
I
is
guess.
scaly.
Okay, I'll give you that point. But I'm just like, if we're gonna talk about strength, like human, like a strength from a gorilla should do some kind of damage, especially in that magnitude of a size as big as King Kong was. So, like that's a great example. But I just feel like Kong. As powerful and how strong apes are, but times 100 with the size of Kong.
This is a dinosaur. This is a radioactive dinosaur we're talking about.
I think Kong should have aimed a little lower.
He should have broke some
bones.
The
wind out of him.
I would have loved that he broke some bones.
That would have been.
I would have loved that he broke some bones, but I'm just saying he could have done some kind of
He
damage.
might have done damage to him internally. We don't know because of how the Godzilla species is. Kong is more akin to a human, so we could see more visible anguish, more visible damage. He doesn't have like scaly exoskeleton. He has flesh. He has human-esque skin. So when you see a hit, he's gonna bleed. When you hear a bone crack, it's gonna break. But Godzilla is literally a walking tank.
Yeah. Here's a good scene. In the current Godzilla films, why are most of the fight scenes at night? Some of the films, it was so hard to see what's going on. I think that's more for like effects, I guess, really just kind of like.
I mean, the Hong Kong was like a neon strobe light, so I was okay for it.
There's a lot that are actually during the day, but because of the smoke given off by all of the wreckage, it blacks out the sky. As one of the most famous, the coolest scenes I think in all of the Godzilla movies is the halo jump in the first one. That's the middle of the day, but there is so much radiation and energy and smoke from the destruction given off that it's just this like lightning tunnel in the sky that they're all diving through. But it's the middle of the day. It's not nighttime. But that's kind of what would happen if you. There was literally. I went to Puerto Rico once. There was literally a gas station that blew up, and it looked dark clouds in that one area of the island. It was bad. So that would happen. It would look like night. Not that this movie doesn't have plenty of night scenes. The aircraft carrier scene, middle of the day.
Yeah, it was middle of the day. But I mean, at the end of having night scenes is kind of cool to have two kaijus going at it at night.
Especially in Hong Kong with all the neon lights.
The only,
so cool.
now going past the fights, I mean, like I said, I'm Team Kong. But what I am gonna say, if we're talking just real quickly about the CGI, I mean, you guys, like, if you look at Kong, the one that and I'll bring up, I think there was one of Godzilla because I don't want to just focus on Kong, even though I'm all Team Kong. Let me get to it. This part right here, and I remember this because I was at the movie theaters, and this part right here, when he opened up his mouth and he was doing this roar, I was just like, look at the details in his mouth, and just like
Mm-hmm.
it's
The
really,
lighting,
yeah, the lighting,
the reflections on his gums and his tongue.
yeah, all that. Like, if I blow it up for some of you guys like are watching, look at this.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you saw in the movie, like just
The
really, really, really good
You
CGI.
see the reflection in his eye,
Yeah, look at
the
that.
beam. Yeah,
It was amazing. And I remember, and I took note of this, but I forgot until watching this trailer. This was one of my favorite, just really seeing how good the CGI was in this film. So, beautiful, you guys. And I think, there was one of Godzilla, if I could find it. But
right
anyways,
at the beginning when Godzilla pops out of the water
Mm-hmm.
and it's just his mouth.
oh,
It's the same level, but there's also water flowing down his mouth. That's just, it's incredible to look at.
yeah,
I like
everything.
the sheer power and the beautifulness and like the coloring and everything of his breath shot underwater, destroying the aircraft carrier.
Oh yeah, it was
The
really
CGI of the Hollow Earth was amazing as well.
Oh yes,
Absolutely breathtaking.
One of the
That
favorite scene. So in the trailer, when you see it, Godzilla's like storming Kong and like attacking something downward with his atomic breath. I thought it was just going to be him like being a little dick and like destroying some buildings for some reason, doing his, because of the way the trailer was pitching Kong versus Godzilla. But then, so in the Hollow Earth, Kong's running on the ground, and all of a sudden he flips upside down because of gravity, and he's running on top of the ceiling now, which is basically another like ground because it's all Earth. So technically, the Kongs lived on top, whereas it was just this weird scenario, right? So you just see Godzilla blowing through the Earth like a freaking drill, powering through the Earth, and then you just hear a bellow like, and you just see Kong going. I'm just like, what is going on here? What is going on?
That was amazing. And then right here, attention to detail. There's literally water droplets animated onto a fake camera.
Yep.
Like there's no camera there.
Yep.
But they're like, we don't have to do that, but we're going to do it because it'll just make it that much more real. Oh,
this is why we're telling you guys that are watching, like, this is a movie you need to watch. And even if you already watched it, you can watch it over and over again. Like, it's just, you're going to get that same satisfaction.
I was going to rewatch today, but I chose Kingdom of Monsters instead, just so I can get a little bit more like lore involved.
I think Ghidorah is my favorite kaiju, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah.
Ghidorah was great. That was a great spectacle. That's a whole nother movie to talk about, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
So let's get to the ratings. What do you guys rate on a scale 1 to 10? You guys already broke down. While you guys are thinking about it, I'll give you guys my rating because to me, like I said, at the end of the day, I'm not so focused on the backstory of the humans or the connection. And I think because the little girl was there, it makes it, I guess, that much a little bit better. And it wasn't a terrible, story with the humans. But for me, I would say I would give this movie about, I would say a 9, I guess a 9. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. And the reason I won't give it like a 9.5 or a 10 out of 10, I just feel like there was something with the Mechagodzilla. I feel like, that's what it was. The humans, how they malfunction Mechagodzilla, and then that, like, if Kong and Godzilla needed help. But other than that, if that wasn't in there, I think I would have given it a better score. But other than that, it was, I would say 9 out of 10. Because like all the scenes, everything was beautiful. The colors, all the different perspectives, even what Justin was saying, like there's no camera there, but there's water droplets. Like I didn't even notice, like, just that and some other, scenes where they had like the perspective of different angles, and it was just kind of unique to see it. Just great overall, just really good. So for me, a 9 out of 10. I would give this movie. So
my biggest beef with this movie actually was what you just dropped was the Mechagodzilla like third act fight. So, but it wasn't the fight itself. Like I love the fact that Mechagodzilla was just whooping butt. Like he was taking no names, he was taking all hands, and he was putting down the law. But no, the only way to stop him is because of some garbage human element where let me just throw some crap on a screen. Like I would have rather Godzilla and Kong work together to figure out how to beat this new foe instead of just having someone shut down the computer and him falling over. Like Kong, of course, Kong hacked him up. Sure, Kong hacked him up, but he hacked up something that wasn't moving.
Yeah. So, yeah. So you agree. So you're kind of like,
That whole third act was garbage.
I wouldn't say it was like terrible or anything, but yeah, like what to me that's what made me go from a perfect 10 or at least a 9.5 or a perfect 10 to a 9. What about you, Justin?
Well, I don't want to become an apologist for bad writing. I don't want to continuously give praise to movies that could very easily have a little bit more effort into their writing aspect of it, into the character development, into the story arc, and the narrative unfolding of a traditional movie. I don't want to give praise to something that could have been easily so much better. With just, if you're going to have characters, don't put 20 characters in a movie. If they're going to be, you only need a couple really, really good. Like I can't give this movie a passing grade because to me, it is a failure as a narrative unfolding as a movie. It just fails. Like if you look at traditional good movies in this one, it is not, to me, a movie. That being said, I'm a little kid inside. The inner child in me remembers the Saturday morning cartoons that, of Power Rangers, coming together to fight the, Megazords, and how that tickled that whatever barbaric primordial itch in me. This movie, in that regard, it's just a good dumb movie. That's all it is. It's great, idiotic fun. You don't need to have perfect movies for them to be amazing,
You don't.
And so I'd give this movie like a 6 out of 10, but at the same time, as it's just so fun to watch, despite the fact that as a movie it is a failure in my opinion. But it is so high scale with everything, and no pun intended, with just how. When it comes to the monsters fighting, that's really what you're here for, and that's where it succeeds. It's everything you could want in regards to Godzilla fighting Kong and them both fighting Mechagodzilla, and the perfect animations that come with it, the great set designs that come with it, and the Hollow Earth story is a little clever, but it's just nothing amounts to nothing but the fighting and the special effects and the sound design amounts to a good movie. So with that being said, I absolutely will watch this multiple times throughout my life. I loved it, but despite me loving it, I'm not going to say it was a good movie. I can't say that.
Gotcha. Katrina was asking not to have a scroll moment. She said, but the eggs from the apex, I think those were the scroll crawlers, right?
Yeah,
those
they
are the scroll crawlers. So
Yep.
that's what there was, Katrina.
They were there to test.
They were
Mechagodzilla's
the
capabilities.
Mechagodzilla. I thought that it was funny all the technology available to monsters and short circuiting the boards was stopped. Yeah, so I mean,
that whole scene pissed
thing.
me off.
Not a good place to put a joke, especially when most of the jokes in the movie didn't really work for me, and I ended up laughing at their attempt to make jokes versus the jokes themselves, except for one of them that was forgettable, but I said earlier in the podcast. So anyway, I'm sorry about my passion, but as a film,
no, you're good.
Like I
thought I was gonna.
We need that like perspective, and like I'm kind of with you, but see, like I just when I watch certain films, like for example, and I'll say this real quick before we leave, and for those who are still watching,
score yet, sir. Thank you.
I thought you did.
Yeah.
No, you skipped right over me.
I thought. Oh
no.
Dang. Well, let's hear Lucas.
Yeah, nobody cares about Lucas score anyway. No, I'm just kidding.
I thought I went to you after I left the.
So I give it a 7 out of 10. I give it a 7 out of 10.
7?
Yeah, I give it a little bit higher than you because I think I appreciate the lore with the characters a little bit better. So I
The
like
Easter eggs.
the Easter
basically.
eggs, the lore, the thought that they went into making the movie. Like I think I appreciate that a little bit more. But the humans just kill the movie for me. It drags the movie on. Like they could have done if they wanted the human element in it, then give me something to care about the humans. Like
It's
Millie
not that
Bobby
hard.
Brown's character, if she was about Godzilla, then have her actually be about Godzilla. Like I said, bring the orca system back. Like have them have some type of way to communicate with creatures now that they have a way to make a robot that is being able to be controlled by a dead being because of some magic dust from the hollow earth. Like
If you have
that's
20
possible,
characters, have one of them die. That's not a bad guy.
exactly.
Yeah.
There's just so many things that involved with the humans on screen that made me so sad. Like Justin hit the nail on the head when he said, when I was sitting next to him, every time something great was on the screen, it was with the creatures, or it was with Kong and the little girl, or it was with something going on. But once Millie Bobby Brown showed her face, I was like, get off the screen. I got really upset. Once like Alex Gargar's character was up on the screen, I put my hands down. I was quiet. I was just not having it. But like, I can give it a 7 out of 10 because it's a great movie in my opinion, but it's not a perfect movie. But
I think it's a bad movie that is fun to watch.
I think wouldn't I mean that's your opinion. I just feel like I
lean more towards Justin's opinion than I think your opinion, Alex. But at the same time, like I think I have a little bit more understanding. Like I said, a little bit more appreciation and understanding for what they were trying to do with this movie when it came to the two main characters.
I'm curious where you rank this in the 4 and how your 4 are ranked as 4 movies.
Me? Godzilla?
All of you. Alex is trying to make a point, so
no, I'm trying to think. I don't know if I can like right now kind of think. Well, here's what I'm gonna say is that when it comes to like for me, I feel like if you rank a movie 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10, especially a movie like that, I feel like it's like watching a comedy movie. You know, the comedy movie is not gonna have like a 10 out of 10 score. Like you're not looking for cinematography and like certain things like that because it's a comedy. Like it's just as long as it makes you laugh. So like a movie like this, as long as it gives you the monster scenes, the fighting scenes. To me, I feel like a bad movie would be like Kong. The fight scenes of Kong Godzilla would be like the first Godzilla movie where you're getting like these little like previews and they just shut it off and it was like nothing and it just left you empty. And then all of a sudden there's this big epic fight scene at the end.
I disagree.
I disagree with that too because you have great comedy movies like Superbad and Knocked Up. They have a plot, they have a story, but it's a comedy movie. But they have a great plot and they have a great story that keeps getting moved forward.
I don't want to be an apologist for bad writing. You can have good writing in a Godzilla versus Kong movie. You can. It is possible. You know, it's this movie would have been great had they not had 3 different groups of characters. Had they just stuck with the girl, they add a little more nuance with Kong, showed a little more backstory. Made a little bit, had like a comedic writer write a few more better jokes that hit. It's, you know, I don't want to say I don't want to set the bar low so that I want to set the bar high so that maybe next time it'll be better. But that's
I would have been fine with Millie Bobby Brown's character as long as I said like they used what she was known for and her family was known for was trying to communicate with these animals, not being some like shoehorn for a podcaster trying to have conspiracy theories.
She made no impact.
No, she didn't. Group. She had more impact. She had more impact in King of Monsters with her character than she did in this movie.
She was a great character in that movie.
Exactly.
She was not like this. It didn't make sense for her to be.
She made a paycheck.
Coincidentally,
they used her name.
Ending up. Yeah, exactly. They didn't have anywhere else to put her, and they probably had her contracted for it. But that's you know some Hollywood. But Alex, I wanted to rank mine, so
go for it. I'm gonna rank mine too.
We'll do. I think Kong Skull Island is the best film.
Agreed.
Of all 4 of these, that is a film. When I look back on, I'm like, they did. It's a near perfect Kong movie.
I own it. That just tell you out of all these movies. No, I don't own all of them, but I own this one. That one.
That I can own. Yeah. My favorite is the first Godzilla. No, I'm kidding. No, so Kong Skull Island, I would say the ones that I'm probably going to watch, Kong Skull Island, I'll probably watch the most. This one, second most. Third, King of the Monsters. First, the first Godzilla.
That's my
But
exact lineup.
normally, when I watch movies like this, I watch them from the beginning. So I'll probably end up watching all of these the same amount from just redoing them all. But yeah, that's my rank. Number 1, Skull Island. Number 2, Godzilla versus Kong. Number 3, King of the Monsters. Number 4, Godzilla.
Exact same line for me. I actually had just wrote them down to make sure. That is my exact same line.
So my list, I guess, would be almost the same, except I would switch 2 to number 1. Godzilla versus Kong would be number 1 for me.
Okay, Skull Island number 2.
Yeah.
Okay,
that would be number 2 for me.
fair enough. I mean, this one, as far as fight scenes go, best fight scenes in the series.
Yeah.
I think King of the
Great.
Monsters, right? I think King of the Monsters fight scenes could somewhat rival if there was more of them. If there was more of them.
Yeah, Ghidorah would have been cool to see if Kong fought him, but it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
I think he would have been fried like a French fry or something. I don't know, but
Not if the way he moves to the city. I mean,
Ghidorah uses electricity, so it's like, we'll see.
Yeah. But you for guys who are still in the chat, I was gonna say if you guys want to rank what you thought of, like, what's your rating for Kong versus Godzilla? Let us know.
Yeah. That's
Very interested.
But like I said, if good movie, go watch it. If you already seen it, I'm guessing if you made it this far, you've already watched it because we were talking spoilers. But yeah, go watch it. Like I said, it's on HBO Max. Go to the movie theaters, go watch it there.
Support movies.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
definitely
support
more
movies like this because they're really trying to get rid of their big budgets by having the streaming services take over. And what y'all don't realize, if y'all don't go see movies, they're going to lower the budgets for this content coming out because they can't make up the content with streaming services.
Yeah, exactly.
Because people will buy a month, watch the movie, and then get off.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, yeah. So just go watch the movies, you guys. Go spend what you need to spend, whatever. This is a great film.
If people don't keep watching movies, they're going to keep pushing the dates back for them as well.
Yeah,
we just got Mortal Kombat pushed back
1 week.
How many times we got Black Widow pushed back? Granted, Corona happened, but we got it pushed back even more.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Go watch these movies, guys. Like we're gonna lose we're gonna lose what we know of cinema if people don't go out and watch these movies. Just do it safely. Do it safely. I'm not telling you just to go out random willy-nilly. Do it safely, but please go watch movies.
Yeah. So we're getting our ratings. So got 8 based on the monsters. Give it an 8.5. I would give it a higher rank if they didn't jump all around over the place. So, like it looks like everyone's gonna be probably in the ballpark of like maybe 7 and 9, maybe.
Between 7 and 9.
Yeah,
I'm giving it a failing grade, but
yeah,
they're
fine.
Yeah.
It was close to it for me for like a failing grade for a movie, but like
But
still fun to watch.
We all watch the same film. We all have our different opinions about it. Like I said, we got one person sitting here saying 8 based on the monsters. I'm saying 9 based on the fights and the monsters. So we all have our different, But again, overall, great film, great movie. One more question before we end it. Do you think in the future there may be a crossover like Kong or Godzilla existing in Jurassic Park? Good question.
No. There was a talk at one point for a Godzilla and Pacific Rim crossover.
Yeah.
There was a talk.
Yeah, the director, and I think it's Guillermo del Toro.
Yes.
Yeah, he wants the monsters to coexist with Kong vs. Godzilla. So we don't know yet. I mean, it's all speculation and rumors, but I mean, if
Gypsy Danger going hands with Godzilla.
I wouldn't say I wanted to exist in the Jurassic Park world, but in Pacific Rim, that would be.
It makes sense for Pacific Rim universe, for the MonsterVerse, to either be like a different, like an alternate Earth, basically, like an alternate reality that the monsters could slip through, or like, how there was a crack in Pacific Rim and the monsters came through the crack from another universe. Exactly. Yeah. So what if another crack opened and like the Titans were what the Jaegers had to stop?
I think the director publicly said that because I think he was trying to plant the seed. So we'll see, you guys. I mean, fingers crossed. We will see. You can never say never, but that would be a step forward for this movie. That would be really good. So
100% would be.
But on that note, I appreciate all you guys who are here watching.
Yes, we do.
I did want to say I don't know if Alex is going to do it, but just in case we're not doing that, Mortal Kombat has been delayed a week, so I was trying to find the date here.
Oh yeah.
Man, I can't find it. It was just a week beyond what the original release date was. I think it's not. I think it was the 16th, and now it's the 26th.
We'll make adjustments on where,
but that's
how we're gonna watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for those who are watching, we're gonna do a Mortal Kombat one, but that's in a couple of weeks. So we will have a stream next Sunday. We'll have probably the topic for it tomorrow. If you follow us on Instagram, if you haven't followed us on Instagram, that's where we announce everything. So Instagram's scrolling on the bottom. Follow us. We'll announce what we're going to talk about next week. But other than that, I don't really have a topic. But Mortal Kombat is for sure one, but that's in a couple weeks. So, but on that note, we will announce the one for tomorrow or for next week, maybe tomorrow, maybe Tuesday. So but on that note, it was a pleasure, guys. It was fun to talk.
Always.
I'm really. This was my rantiest.
I'm looking forward.
This was the most us stream so far.
Yeah.
Like it was very much our personality shining through very hard.
Yeah.
I'm very passionate about bad writing. So yeah.
And then I got Katrina, one of my mods, our mods, dropping off links for. There's my Instagram, and she'll drop Lucas's and Carlo's Instagram. But so we announce everything. But anyways, cannot wait. It was fun. Looking forward to next week, and I'm definitely looking for us three to talk about the Mortal Kombat. But on that note, let me put up. On that note, always be yourself. Unless you can be Batman, then always be Batman. See ya.
Bye. Deuces.